special guest with us today, and it's going to be really fun. We met her at Goodwill.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
One of my favorite boutiques.
Would you like to be in our video? Well, but anyway, she has a very wonderful little business for herself, and we wanted to share it with you. So this is Sarah Stetler, and her little business is
Wildlike Goods.
See, we made you say that.
Yes,
right. How we did that.
But you know what the thing is that she's using all kinds of things from nature that I mean it's just such a neat thing. And so Sarah, how did you ever think about, I mean, you make like wreaths and you make
Yes.
what other kinds of things?
Well, at the moment, it's primarily a seasonal business at Christmas time. So I sell Christmas trees, of course, and then I also make.
Are they Christmas trees that you cut down, or do you
Yes,
prefer?
yes.
Okay,
So I've loved Christmas
Well,
my entire life.
you
Who doesn't
hey.
love Christmas? And my background is actually in performing, and I was a professional musician for many years.
Wow. What did you play?
I was a singer. So
Oh wow!
See, now I got to tell you this about me, Sarah. I cannot sing and I cannot dance, but I think I can. You know?
That's all you really need, though. That's all you really
I love
need.
musicals. I love all this.
That's exactly what. So I went to school for musical theater.
Good for
that's
you.
And
Great.
I've lived all over in Chicago and New York and St. Louis, and
She lives here in
now
Waukesha.
I live in
Wisconsin.
Waukesha,
Well, we're
Wisconsin.
so glad you live
Glamorous
here.
Waukesha. Yes. So I was born and raised here and in Milwaukee. And I ended up kind of traveling the world as a musician on cruise ships and things like that.
That's kind of fun. You're too young. You have done
I'm
all
not
this.
as young as you
do
think
that.
I am. That's my secret.
Okay. Well, you look young.
I have little kids, but I did not have
You're
them
old.
young.
I can see.
I did not have them young. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I had them both after 40.
Really? You don't.
Wow.
You look like you're about 25.
Yeah, right, that's
to me.
right.
Yeah, I
That's
wish.
beautiful.
In my spirit, maybe, but yeah.
It is funny because I think we all work at getting on a completely different kind of thing, but as you get older, you go, because we were both married really young, like 19, you know, and so it's kind of a different, that's why we're doing what we're doing now, right?
Right,
because
right.
we didn't get a chance to.
Yeah.
So good for you.
And good for you
So
too.
all you young people
There's still time.
out there watching us, just take advantage of doing something really different before you get tied down.
That's
Yes.
true. Or just have so many chapters in life.
Yes,
That's right. That's right.
That sounds like a goodie.
Sounds
Exactly.
like a book.
No.
Yes. Well, yeah. I never would have dreamed. We have an interesting location here where we have some pretty heavy traffic going by sometimes.
But we thought it was so pretty, it'd be fun to just kind of do this outside. So this will be a whole
Yes. Well, this
experience.
really is an agricultural venture,
Yes.
and that's really where the next chapter of my life took me. I've always loved nature. I've always loved, especially when I've traveled, when I've had the opportunity to travel around the world. I've spent as much time as I can kind of observing the natural habitats. And where it led me is right back home to Wisconsin. And one of my great loves is the North Woods. And one of the really cool things about Wisconsin is that we are native growing territory for balsam fir,
Yes.
which is, in my opinion, the most beautiful of Christmas trees. There's several different varieties. There's double balsam, which looks more like a Fraser fir, very refined and beautiful. And then there's the kind of
the
wild
needles are
looking
beautiful.
balsam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really.
It almost feels soft or something.
Yes,
right?
the fragrance is unbeatable, and kind of one of my philosophies just in general in life is to try to be as sustainable as possible and try to waste as little as possible. So I realized every year my tradition of getting a Christmas tree I'm often purchasing a tree that was grown somewhere very far away and trucked here, when there are the most beautiful of trees right here.
Right here. You're right.
Yes, and unfortunately, Christmas tree farming, like farming in general, there are a lot of farmers retiring and not a lot of young people coming to take their place.
Because people, it's a good thing maybe we're doing this because there are other options than just buying the tree in the store.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because
absolutely.
I guess it started, well, I could remember in the 50s, you know, we remember we would, I think there were places that we went. Some of us lived in places that they could be cut down.
Yeah,
but
cut down.
Other places you would go
That
into
was
a
the
lot,
excursion,
and
yeah.
they'd bring them all in. But you don't see those lots much anymore at all, do you?
Not
Where
as
they have
much.
'em?
Not as much. So we decided.
But you have, so come Christmas time, they could come here and buy
Yes.
a fresh Christmas tree.
Yes.
Now, would you help somebody with telling them, because they know nothing, because they've only had a plastic tree or whatever they are, how to keep that going as long as possible?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the keys, when you buy a local Wisconsin-grown tree, your tree was not cut 2 months ago.
Right.
That's
right.
a big part
yes.
of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Part of it is less distance means just absolutely fresher tree, because it's cut down at the farm, and then we bring them here directly. Now we own a construction business as well. We do it's concrete cutting is what we do. So we have access to vehicles where we're able to go to the farm, get the trees, and bring them back.
Oh, that's good.
Now we're working on, I mean, the grand dream is to kind of change the way trees are even being farmed.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now we have some beautiful trees from a farm up north, but my actual dream is to go back to a very ancient technique, thousands of years old, called coppicing, where you take trees that are growing and you harvest them in such a way that they continue growing. You don't take the tree down to the ground and essentially kill it.
Yeah.
You actually leave parts of the tree there, and balsam, as well as many conifers, are so fantastic. Many trees will do this, but particularly conifers, you can take it at a certain level, harvest it, and then it will regrow sometimes multiple Christmas trees off of one trunk.
Wow, I see.
So you can continue a tree growing that way. So one of the oldest trees is actually thousands of years old, because it continues to regrow and refresh and regenerate itself. Typically when you can see my big old Norfolk spruce is not looking really good right now. Because they have a lifetime, and they reach the end of the lifetime. And this is a very big tree that has been around for a very long time, and it's nearing the end of its life. But if you continue to coppice, you're actually doing the tree a favor, and it's able to regenerate and continue coming back stronger every time.
That's really cool. That's something I would have never known.
So then you decided to make something from those, like needles and branches.
Yes. So the thing about a Christmas tree is that you have it during the Christmas season, and truly just giving it fresh, clean water every day. And one of the biggest keys, I will say, this is my tip for anybody who's getting their tree anywhere.
Now listen.
You have to get that tree into water as fast as possible after the trunk has been trimmed.
Okay.
Because the sap will just
start coming out.
Yep. The sap will collect at the bottom, and it'll solidify, and then it will prevent the tree from drawing water.
Yeah, from getting the water.
Yep. So if you come by our place at Christmas time, we have a handy dandy chainsaw, and we will the bottom of the trunk off, and as long as you are
going home and put it in there,
we get you a fresh cut, and then you just get it right in the water right away. If you're not going home right away, then the idea would be to cut it at home. And actually, balsam is a very soft wood, so it's not difficult to cut it fresh. But it's just like your fresh flowers when you get them from the florist.
Oh yeah.
You give them a fresh cut, and then you put them in the water.
Put them in.
Okay, so we would want to start with this.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is actually an example of a wreath that I would make at the holidays, except I made this out of boxwood instead of evergreen. This is actually for a spring wreath. And when I make my wreaths, I use only natural materials. There's nothing on here.
So what is that holding it up?
So this is grapevine that
Oh,
I've
grapevine,
harvested
okay.
from my own my own property.
Sure.
So I harvest the grapevine, I weave it into a wreath.
Do you make
form.
wine? I had to ask you, Sarah.
No, I have little boys, so I make syrup and
Oh,
lots
oh,
and
you
lots
do?
of grape
Oh,
syrup.
that's
Yes,
great.
yes.
That's cool.
This is actually wild grape.
Oh,
So
okay.
so I make wild grape syrup, and it's delicious.
Yes.
It's really good. So I make the form out of grapevine,
Okay.
and then this is just jute twine,
Yeah.
and I hand tie the branches on. This is boxwood that I harvest here, but
Okay.
of course in the Christmas season I'll harvest fresh balsam, and actually I have many varieties of conifer pine and spruce and things like that. So I make all kinds of different wreaths. They all look a little bit different. You would never find anything like that at the big box stores
No.
at all. And the reason I make them like this is that at the end of the season, when you're all done with your wreath and you want to redecorate,
Yeah.
you have lots of options. You can take out the old branches and keep your grapevine wreath and hang it up just the way that it is.
Okay.
It's just a lovely grapevine wreath.
How long does that last?
Now this right here
What is that?
this is boxwood. So this
Boxwood.
I've actually preserved it with a little bit of glycerin, and
Oh,
this
okay.
will look this way almost indefinitely.
Really?
And after a
Wow.
few years, it'll start to get, it gets brittle, a little more
touch
brittle
it,
when it
Angie.
dries. But boxwood actually dries, it'll discolor a tiny bit.
Well,
But
I mean,
for the
but
most
it's it's so natural, and even though you treat it a little bit.
I treat the boxwood a tiny bit. I don't really do that with the evergreen. But
Yeah.
what I do is I spray all my wreaths with pine oil, which is the essential oil of pine, and it helps.
So she's a completely nature bound.
She sure
really
is.
I love it.
Pretty crunchy, but but the reason I do that is the pine oil will actually prevent the leaves from losing moisture. So whatever is in there, it does preserve them pretty well. I've been doing science experiments all over my property to try to see how long things will last and
that is
continue to
really
look fresh.
These trees are your materials to work with.
Yes, and these are my Christmas trees from last season.
Okay, that
didn't sell. And truthfully, there's not that many of them left, but my philosophy is no waste whatsoever. So I'm going to go back to Native Americans who used to collect the pine needles to make their bedding. The essential oil in the balsam needles actually helps promote restful sleep. So I'm going to collect the needles. Yep, and I can show you how I do it.
So
they don't look very pretty, but they dry upright so that they stay fresh. They don't get moldy or anything like that. They dry beautifully, and then I can just come and collect the needles in my bucket. And unfortunately, we don't have smell-o-vision, but the
I can
fragrance
smell
is
it.
just
It smells.
fantastic.
I do smell it. It smells really good.
Yes,
And
it does.
So the most frequent question I am asked usually is, what do you do with the leftover trees?
Yes.
And the answer is I collect the needles, and then whatever is left over, the wood, can be used for all kinds of things. You can either burn it, in your fireplace, in your fire pit, or
I bet it smells good too.
it smells good,
Yeah.
and you can also use the balsam leaves or the balsam branches to make whisks and things like that. Yeah. So there's lots of cool products that you can make with the trees after they are no longer Christmas trees.
My question to Sarah is, are you gonna sleep on that? So let's hear your answer.
Not the first time I've had that question.
Okay.
So first of all, they will be cleaned and dried, and they will be absolutely as sterile as possible before they go into pillows.
Okay.
But the other thing that I'm planning on doing, because I'm always looking for uses for things that are abundantly available, and one of the things that are abundantly available in our area are cattails. And cattails are also something that have been traditionally used for hundreds upon hundreds of years as bedding.
Before they, for heaven's sake, so it's gonna mix together.
So I'm going to mix it together, so there'll be balsam on the interior and then a layer of cattail fluff,
Oh my gosh.
inside the pillow. So we'll have a very, very natural product, and it'll be inside like a cotton muslin.
That's kind of exciting. I'm kind of anxious to see that.
Yes,
know.
yes.
Yeah.
So then the options are endless for covering them. We can
sure.
make any number of handmade or
Oh,
artistic
yeah,
covers
right,
for that.
right.
But the important thing is the filling, and it's really meant to promote restful sleep, or even just as a throw pillow on your couch, just to
right, or
just to have that
as
wonderful
just a scent,
fragrance.
as just a scent in the house you can put on a table or something like that.
Yes, the beautiful thing about balsam is that you will smell it forever. I don't know about you,
Yeah.
but if you have a real Christmas tree and you vacuum up the needles
Yeah,
at the
you
end
smell-
of the season, you
you're
smell
right.
it in your
You
every
can
time you
smell it.
vacuum.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Big thing is when when the holiday season comes around. I mean, you're hearing the people who watch us that are from Wisconsin. I mean, that are getting us or have subscribed to us. And they may just be inspired themselves. You never know.
Absolutely.
And we'd
Yeah.
be happy to put your,
My website.
Give us
website
your
on our
website.
site, and so you guys just check it out. We'll have it listed there for you.
But say
Yes,
it,
you
too.
can visit me at wildlikegoods.com.
Wild
How
like.
simple.
Yes.
Wild like.
Like.
L-I-K-E.
Yep.
.com. Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
thank
well,
you
thank you,
so
Sarah.
much,
Thank
Sarah.
you so much.
mean,
I
we
appreciate
just-
you coming out. It's a hot day. Summertime is not the
That's
best
okay.
season for Christmas stuff.
We
right
made
now.
it. We're in the shade again.
But we just found this so interesting, and we're
Yes.
so happy that you are doing this, and I think people will be really, really interested.
Thank you
So
so
thank
much. I
you.
appreciate it.
Well, thank you for joining us, and please subscribe if you like our videos. We'd love to hear your comments, and I'm sure that Sarah would too. So, thank you so much for watching today.